You and Your Young Child, a program of information and services available for you and your child from prenatal to age 5. You and Your Young Child has been brought to you in part by Minor Family Dentistry and by the Sternberg Museum of Natural History. Minor Family Dentistry would like to bring you the following dental health tip. It's recommended to have a dental checkup no later than your child's first birthday. An adult should brush for a young child and monitor older children's brushing to ensure a good job is done. Flossing should start when teeth are touching. Minor Family Dentistry wishes you good dental health. Families, including children of all ages, are welcome. Minor Family Dentistry, 1010 Downing and Hayes. Find them in the Next Tech directory.
Dad, you won't believe what I just saw.
What are you talking about?
The Giants!
Giants? I'll show you a giant.
Yes!
15 All-Star Giants!
Not you, Dad. The giant African dinosaurs at the Sternberg Museum of Natural History.
Oh, those giants. Let's go now.
Yes!
Come out to the Sternberg Museum of Natural History for a once-in-a-lifetime experience exploring the featuring exhibit, Giant African Dinosaurs.
Hello, and welcome to You and Your Young Child, the program devoted to early childhood. My name is Dana Stanton, and I'm the coordinator of the West Central Kansas Smart Start program. And with me today is Melanie Fisher. Good morning, Melanie.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm fine. Now, Melanie, today you're going to tell us a little more about the Options program here in Hayes. Can you tell us a little bit about Options and what do you do there?
Options is a domestic and sexual violence advocacy service here in Hayes. I'm an advocate with Options and been there for about a year and a half, almost 2 years. And what we do is provide services to victims of domestic and sexual violence.
Now, what kind of services more specifically would you provide at Options?
What we do is we provide a 1-800 number, which is a 24-hour hotline for 24-hour services. For victims. We provide peer counseling, advocacy support through, say, law enforcement, victim advocacy through, say, medical exams, that type of thing, and help in healing through the process of domestic and sexual violence.
Now, who's eligible for these services that you provide?
Our services are free and confidential, and they're available to anyone who needs them. We don't charge anything. Our services are provided through grants through the state and other resources, and so we are able to provide services then to anyone who needs them.
Now, I know some people might be saying, well, Hayes isn't a very big town. You know, is this really needed in our area? You know, is this something that happens in Hayes very often?
Unfortunately, yes. Studies show that 1 in 4 women will be sexually abused in their lifetime. Domestic violence is about 1 in 4, 1 in 5 women are victims of domestic abuse. Not to downgrade men, 1 in 16 men are also victims of domestic violence. And men are also victims of sexual assaults, although they are rarely reported.
This show, we talk about things for young children, and sadly, I know that sometimes young children are in this situation. So how would you help a child that's been sexually abused?
What we do for children is we give support to families through advocacy. We will help the family and guide them through some of the systems that they may have to go through when reporting and dealing with childhood sexual abuse. What we will do is go with them through to medical appointments, what they call a SANE exam. A lot of times children will have to go through what's called a SANE exam, and it's very uncomfortable. And uncomfortable for the parent to have to help their child through that. And so we're there to guide them and help them to understand why it's needed, and also help them through the legal process. There are a lot of systems involved in childhood sexual abuse. Social services could get involved, law enforcement could get involved, the judicial system, medical personnel, schools, counselors. There are a lot of systems involved. And because we work with all of those systems on a regular basis, we can help guide that family through those systems and help them to understand how things work and how best to get through it with a lot of support and counseling and
For the families and the
for the
children.
families and the children, and helping them to learn how to help their child heal as well as themselves.
Now, what signs, all parents want to keep their children safe, and I know there would be some things that would be perfectly normal. So, what's a perfectly normal sign, that you shouldn't say, oh, no, that's a sign of sexual abuse? What's something that's very, normal that you might see in a child?
Children are sexually curious at certain ages. There are age-appropriate ways that children will become curious about their sexuality. If they're curious and they begin showing curiosity with other children that are around the same age, and it doesn't seem to be coerced or forced on them, then that may be age-appropriate and something they want to talk to their physician about. And so there are those signs. However, there are signs that things are not age-appropriate and may not be something that's healthy.
Now, if a parent has just like a warning bell going off in the back of their mind, who would they talk to? They call you, they call their doctor, law enforcement. What should they do?
My suggestion is always, the most important thing is being cautious. If you have concerns, it's always best to address those concerns rather than put them off, because the child's health is the most important thing. I would say that the most important aspect of that would be to either contact law enforcement right away and get their advice. Typically, law enforcement will either contact us to come and advocate for that child and that family while they're speaking with them, or they will contact what's called the Child Advocacy Center in Western Kansas, and they are based out of Scott City and specially trained to interview children who are suspected of being sexually abused.
Now, if some of our listeners might have questions for you or would like to contact you, what number or how would they get hold of you?
We're located, we have actually 3 locations. We cover 18 counties in Northwest Kansas. Our local number is 785-625-3055. And we also have a 800 number, and I always forget it.
I don't remember my number, so we can look it up.
I always forget it. It's 1-800-794-4624.
And we'll put that on the screen so parents can call.
Wonderful.
Thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you.
You've been watching You and Your Young Child, the program devoted to early childhood. Parents, remember, you are your child's first and best teacher. Thank you.
Thanks for watching You and Your Young Child, a program of information and services available for you and your child from prenatal to age 5. You can watch the program weekdays in the noon and 9 o'clock hours. You and Your Young Child has been brought to you in part by Minor Family Dentistry and by the Sternberg Museum of Natural History.